Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I'm grateful that you guys chose to hang out with me again with Wisdom on Wednesday, and I'm Ray. So I appreciate the feedback from last week. I appreciate the comments. I appreciate the private messages, the encouragement that the topic really resonated with many of you. My prayer is that we can all grow. I still need your help. Continue to share our post, continue to like it, continue to add it to your social media platforms. I appreciate those people who've been doing that and tagging me. I've met some new friends. I appreciate you for that. As per usual, praying, asking the Lord to give us something that we can actually share with that will help us all grow in this wisdom journey. And early on today, I was a little perplexed. I didn't have much to share. Just recently, something came to me, and wise people, we have to understand what's actually valuable in our lives. Wise people, we have to understand what's valuable in our lives. Oftentimes, we associate value with things that are difficult to obtain. When I was growing up as a child, we didn't have a car. So when we went to the grocery store, we would have these men called jitneys. If you're from Detroit, grew up in the 80s, you understand what I'm talking about. Pretty mama, these older gentlemen who were very polite, will offer their services to put your groceries into the car and drive you home. And I think deep down they had hopes of possibly somehow getting my mother's phone number. I hated jitneys, so I apologize if you were a jitney. But what happened was us not having a vehicle actually put a higher value on having a car to me. So from a youth, seeing that my mother needed a vehicle, seeing that I would have liked to not have jitneys hitting on my mom, wanted me to obtain a vehicle so that I can alleviate that feeling of not being able to get from point A to point B. So this became a value for me. Being able to have my own car seemed like something that was so important, something that all the cool guys in the neighborhood drove when they were of age. That thing, because I couldn't obtain it, because I couldn't get it at that particular time, it became all I thought about. It became the entire thing I only wanted in my life. But as I got older and I was able to purchase a vehicle when I got about 19 years old, that excitement was there, but it didn't last long. I was excited to be able to drive a car off the lot. I was excited to have a car in my name. I was excited, but I wasn't as excited when I went to fill up the gas. I wasn't as excited when I paid the insurance. I wasn't as excited when I paid the note. All I'm trying to say is that sometimes just because something is difficult to obtain, that doesn't mean it's more valuable. It doesn't mean just because something is out of your reach, that now because it's out of your reach, that means that now that's something is something that has to overwhelm all your thoughts. It has to be something that actually dominates your desires. All you can consider is the thing that's just out of your reach. And isn't that funny? That things like the things that we have, we fail to appreciate. The things that we have in our circles, we don't really value. Sometimes mentors, mentees, work relationships, scholastic relationships, romantic relationships. We don't really appreciate those relationships because we've already obtained them. And it seems as if those relationships where people aren't really giving us what we believe that we need, those people who aren't really responding in such a way that we think they should respond, are the ones who captivate our attention. You see, when you become wise, what happens is you start understanding the value in friendship. When you become wise, you understand the value in forgiveness, offering it and receiving it. When you become wise, you start valuing the people who've invested in you. When you become wise, what happens is you now realize the value of time. You value things that are easily lost but hard to obtain. You see, time is free, but that second we just passed, we'll never get it back. In actuality, that's something that's valuable, but it was free to us. Oftentimes, we don't appreciate time until it's almost gone. But the people who are out of reach, those jobs that are out of reach, this is what happens. The job, the career that's out of reach, the people that are out of reach, the relationships we think we can have are out of reach. And those things become valuable to us. But many times, once we obtain those careers, once we obtain those relationships, sometimes you can fantasize over something you see. And ultimately, when you get it, you lose all interest. Sometimes you can think that you want a role, you can want to manage people. But then when you manage people, you recognize you become manic. All the managers know what I'm talking about. It's difficult at times because we have this insatiable desire as human beings to feel like we've always have to amass more to be valuable. Oh, you knew we were getting to it today. The reason sometimes some people chase valuable things because we want to identify with those valuable things. When I was a young person, we used to wear Levi's and silk shirts and S curls. Y'all know nothing about the S curl. If you grew up over there in McMichael, we put the perm in, but we didn't put the juicy juice in. We would just fake like we had automatic curly hair. And we wore things. If you wore Reeboks, you couldn't wear a Nike shirt. They said you were perpetrating. So there were rules on the values of your clothes. So you stayed up all day ironing your clothes, borrowing clothes sometimes, so that you can chase down this value so you can somehow look valuable and now have this new identity of value because you have somebody else's name on the back of your pants or a swoosh on your shoes. You see, what happens is that you will wear things and you had all these rules on what was valuable. Even though that Nike jacket may have been warm to you, your grandmother gave it to you, the people in the street would make fun of you because it invalidated what you were wearing because you wore things that were mismatched. You see how crazy we were? We cared more about what other people thought versus what we actually thought about the things we had already obtained. So we would dismiss something that was already in our closet if the people in the schoolyard didn't like what we were going to wear. We would dismiss something that someone valuable gave us so that we can please somebody who don't care nothing about us. I hope this resonates with you today. Be very careful dismissing the people in your life who are for you because those people who you are chasing don't like the people who are for you. Be careful dismissing people who don't value what you value. Be careful chasing people who want only you, but they don't want all of you. All they want is what you can do for them. You see, when you don't have your own identity, friend, you'll chase things down to make yourself feel more valuable. I want to amass this career. I want to own this business. I want to have this many children. I want to do this and I want to do that. Maybe not because I want it, but because I will seem more valuable to people. Because when people really value you, friend, it doesn't matter what you have. It matters who you are. And when you find a true friend, that true friend will be your friend when you're broke. That true friend will be with you when you're on top. That true friend will tell you the truth when you're tripping. That true friend will help you along the way. And unfortunately, me, like many people, we have given away great friendships trying to gain the favor of people who can care less about us. So as you grow in value, we have to recognize and understand that everything that glitters ain't gold. Everything that's shiny is not worth your time. Everything that seems like if I get this, then I can do that. Maybe we need to reevaluate our structure. Maybe we need to reevaluate our timeline. Why won't you start that plan? Why won't you start that vision? Why won't you start that business? You see, because if you get something, then you'll start something. I'm here to tell you, you're never going to start. If you don't start broke, you won't start when you get money. If you don't start when you don't have time, you're not going to start when you have time. You see how this goes? When we dream about it and we tell people about it, that's almost our goal, that people can pat us on the back and say, that's a great idea. But sometimes the best ideas aren't the ones that we articulate. The best ideas are the ones we actuate, the ones that we actually put foot to pavement. We actually put rubber to road. We actually value what we already have inside of us, and we don't have to get something to become valuable. We don't have to earn something to become valuable. The value is already in us because we are image bearers of God. So the thing that God gave us is what makes us valuable. We don't need another thing. We don't need another person that I don't need to find someone to make me valuable. I bring value wherever I go. I bring value whomever I speak with. I bring value whatever I do. If it means I'm going to the gym or I'm lounging in the backyard, wherever I go, I bring value. And that's not an arrogant or inflated view of myself, because I grew to a space of recognizing I was chasing false relationships. I was chasing false friendships. I was chasing places and prestige that actually meant nothing, but I had a false view of value. And when you don't know your worth, you're willing to sell yourself short. When you don't understand what true friendships are, when you don't understand the importance of saying sorry to your mother before she's put in the hole, when you don't understand the value of making amends with your father before he goes home to be with the Lord, when you don't understand making amends with your grandparents before they go home. Value is in the relationships that you've already formed. Value is in having people that you can talk to. I learned this from a man who was on his way to a nursing home, and he had a smile on his face, and I was so perplexed. I said, "You're going to a nursing home. Why are you so excited? Why are you smiling?" He says, "I'm not excited about the nursing home, but I was just riding over here thinking about how good my life has been." And I said, What do you mean you're on your way to a nursing home? Why are you smiling?" He says, "Well, as a young man, I worked hard to make sure that my children had everything they needed, but I lost my job, and all I really could do for my children was to spend time with them. And I took them to the park often, and I would play with them, and I taught them to always work hard and enjoy life because life was short." And he smiled and a tear came out of his eye. And I said, "That sounds pretty hard. How'd the rest of your story go?" He says, "Well, my children became older. And when they became older, they came and they spent time with me. And when they didn't have to be with me, they came and they sat with me. Even though I didn't have a lot to offer them, they said that I brought them value." And he said he asked his daughter and his son, he says, "Why do you guys come and spend time with me?" They said that because you invested in me, you taught us what was valuable. And the time you invested in us was valuable. So now we're going to invest time in you. And he began to bust out in tears. And he says, "I don't have anything in the bank. I don't have anything to think about retiring. I don't even know how my children are paying for this place. But I do know this. The success of a parent isn't a child buying you a car. The success of a parent isn't buying you a house. But success being a parent is when your grown children who don't have to spend time with you come and sit around you and still enjoy your company." That's value, wise friends. So as we calibrate or recalibrate what's valuable in our lives, consider the relationships you have. Say that sorry if you need to. Consider the relationships you have. Pick that phone up and rekindle the conversation of somebody you're running from right now. Value the relationships you have in your life and watch things change in your life. Recognize that you have everything that you need to be who God created you to be. Stop chasing waterfalls, as TLC said. You have to be sure to stay in your lane and be exactly who God created you to be. I hope this was valuable to you. And if it was valuable to you, share it with somebody you love and share it with somebody that you think this message would resonate with. Remember, friends, post me on your social media platform, tag me and share it. Make certain that people recognize you got your weekly dose of wisdom and we're growing together. And I appreciate your time and thank you for watching. Have a wonderful day and a blessed week.